The trophy of the Varsovian revolters, captured by the soldiers of the Zoska Battalion, officially named after the nickname of Tadeusz Tychinski, the Pudel. Its crew called it Magda. Fought in the streets of Warsaw, liberated the prisoners of the Gęsiówka concentration camp, accepted its last fight covering the retreat of revolters.
Does the tank look familiar? That's right, it's a Panther. During the Warsaw Uprising, the Polish captured 2 of these vehicles. The revolters named one of them the Pudel, in honor of their fallen friend with this nickname. The Polish newcomer is played the same way as the German medium tanks. The question is, how do you play it effectively?
All right, guys, well, 2 interesting clips that I found on YouTube from World of Tanks. The Pudel was the first Polish tank in the game, and we got this just recently for free on the MS1 event. Fairly easy to get. I think you had to average 5 wins for 10 days or something in order to get that. So I'm sure a lot of you got the tank, and as you heard in the video, it's a captured Panther. For us here in the Blitz community, that means we're at a tier 6, not a tier 7, and you can see the similarities in the profile of these 2 tanks here. Really neat historical tank, which is why I showed those clips. And unfortunately, this review is probably going to be a little bit too late. Many of you have probably played it, moved on, and forgotten about it. But anyway, while we're here in the garage, let's just run through my setups with repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions, I'm running the cheese head, the improved fuel, and enhanced sandbag armor, getting additional 60 hit points there on the tank itself. The other option here would be to exchange that out for the cinnamon roll, in my opinion. Moving on to ammo, 46, 22, and 12 APCR as your premium, making sure that we're buying that with credits and not gold. Now for the most important part, the equipment. Gun rammer versus calibrated shells on this tank. Both of them are pretty poor. However, I think it's more important that we pen versus having a gun rammer on this tank, which is why I'm running calibrated shells. We've got defense system and improved optics, and the setup here under combat power is for a medium tank. Enhanced gun lane drive only works when you've stopped moving, and a lot of times we are shooting on the move. And this tank does work well as a midline, backline support sniper tank as well. So that also helps with the supercharge. Approved assembly, getting us an additional 60 hit points just because the armor is not great. And we'll go into that discussion here in a second. Engine accelerator, vertical stabilizer. In the videos that I'm going to show you, I was actually running it with refined gun. And you can see just how much this barrel bounces around when you're shooting on the move. So I highly recommend the vertical stabilizer, toolbox, and consumable delivery system. All right, guys, here's Armor Inspector. You know, I typically go into Blitz Stars first, but I thought with the armor on this tank, it was better to talk about it first. As you can see, nice big spaced armor around the gun mantlet here. 100 millimeters, but 122 effective. And as we go further up the mantlet there, you're going to see that number getting really high. So you've got this little strip down the middle that is pennable by a lot of tanks. But as you get up or down on that gun mantlet, you're going to get some bounces. And then around the outside here, this orange area is basically 100 millimeters across the way there. So it does work pretty well. Hold down, you just have to worry about this commander's hatch. And again, the further off center you get, the more the effective armor becomes. Now, the hull on this is 70 mil, effective 117, and then the lower glacis here, 45 and 81. I mean, that's an area you have to worry about on any tank. But really what I wanted to talk about here was the sides at 35. And, you know, I'll put a link down below to a really great video that Blitz put out. Well, I think it might have been World of Tanks put out talking about the gun mechanics. And keep in mind, as we get here into the pen mode, right, you'll see that the sides here are red. However, as I mentioned before, this is just 35 millimeters. So the 3 caliber rule does come into play meaning that any tank that has 3 times the gun size as your nominal armor here, which is 35, so anything over 105 millimeters, so think your SU-100Y, your 152s, automatically will pen. There's no calculation needed here on the sides. The turret's a different story because that is 45 mil. So that should hold up, but just keep that in mind. There's really not a lot you can do, and this is being shot at with a T-34-85. There's not a lot you can do here to hide this tank other than just get hull down and stay covered as much as possible. But if you're brawling with another tank, you can throw these wheels around and hopefully a shot goes into the side. If they're aiming here, you turn it as quickly as possible and maybe you force a bounce. But outside of that, you're not going to get many bounces. And so as we move here into Blitz stars, I've got, as far as the premium tanks, to compare this to the PZ KPF-4 and the Britannia Panther here. As you can see, very similar DPM numbers, pen numbers, and obviously shell velocity. So the tank that I feel that this most closely resembles tech tree wise is the VK3001D. Obviously the Panther is a tier up, and so its stats are going to be much better, so it can compete at that tier. But here's some of those tanks you really need to worry about, as they all have calibers over 120 millimeters. Will automatically pen your sides there. But as we get to the weapon handling here, you'll see a nice dispersion. And of course, this is without any equipment, so anything less than 0.3 is really good. 8 degrees of gun depression. You've got a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour, which is nice. Terrain resistance of only 1. Some of these tanks here you'll see have 1.1, which will slow them down. So 22.7 is our horsepower per ton ratio, 145% credit coefficient. So a nice tank to make money for, certainly for a free tank. 100 mil as we went over on the turret, 70 on the hull. And there's our 45 on the side of the turret and 35 on the hull. So yeah, it's one of those tanks that I think is a very nice free bonus from Blitz. And so let's go into some gameplay and how you can increase your damages per game and have a little bit more fun in this tank. Alright guys, so here is the first battle I'm going to show. I've got 3 battles lined up, and yeah, I did kind of cherry pick these for the best results. I did have some extremely lopsided games in this tank, so quite honestly, not a tank you're going to be able to carry all the time. And with what's going on in the game right now, I don't know why anyone would expect that it could, especially for a free tank. But quickly up to the 50 kilometers per hour top speed. Does have some nice mobility for a medium tank. Castilla, obviously one of those maps that you want to kind of split, and you have to kind of protect the crossfire across the map. And you'll notice throughout this game, their heavies are quite aggressive, while ours are very, very passive. And it kind of dictates the battle, to be honest with you. I've got this Pudel with me, and you can see how much this gun barrel is bouncing up and down, which is why I recommend now the vertical stabilizers. But he's up there, and so far only 1 tank spotted on the A side, and I've got 2 tanks with me. So I'm using that as an opportunity to try to get shots in on the heavies and keep them from pushing too hard. Now, I'm not sure why this guy is running off of the hill. Again, the only tank that we've seen spotted on this side is this guy right here. 8 degrees of gun depression. Not quite enough to get the pen in, and now I'm noticing that, that these guys are pushing again. So looking to get the crossfire here into the windmill area. But they just go heavy, and I'm not sure who that SU is doing in the middle of the map there. just bleeding hit points. So lucky shot there, quite honestly, onto the rather large cupola on top. And now I'm going to start getting some unlucky bounces here. We get one into the track, can't pan him. Another one goes into the track, does no damage. And I finally got some support here with me. He's not penning either. And unfortunately for him, he's going to take a massive 723. But as you can see, the team has folded. And I need to get off this ridge before that TD reloads here. So around we come, and there we go. There's that other ricochet. So the tank does have some ability to bounce shots. And just trying to stay alive here, get some help, and finish him off. So, you know, while this game is going to go down as a loss, you'll see its ability here just to put shots on target quite frequently. And, you know, you can, if in the right situation, get some good damage games out of it. But you saw how many shots just bounce. Can't really explain it. Certainly not when you try to shoot through the dead tank there. But we get this back to a 4-on-2, and we'll get A back here. But at this point in time, we just don't know where the opposing team is coming from. And yeah, with 20 hit points left, obviously a one-shot to anybody. KV2's coming around the corner here. And again, maybe if I'd have had vertical stabilizers on, we would have been able to get that in. But we go down as the Annihilator and ARL come around the corner as well. And not much longer here for the Skoda T25. Just having a hard time penning. But yeah, so, you know, a rather close game in the end. We did our part there, 2,400 damage, 4 kills. You know, this guy here, Pudel with me, just didn't really help too much, nor did that Annihilator. So anyway, there is the first loss that I was going to show you. All right, guys, let's swing into battle number 2 here. This is all tier 6 tanks on Falls Creek. As you can see, you know, I was playing this when the tank first came out, so we've got several other Pudels with us here.
Let's get this show on the road.
Gonna push onto the medium side over here at A. Like to come up here where we can get a little bit hold down from anybody that might be coming up straight into those bushes there. And surprise a shot here and then back up so that they can't get returned. And look at this guy, he's just going for it here. So we'll drop the adrenaline and try to get out of here without taking too much more damage. You can see how much this gun is bouncing all over the place.
We're losing power. Enemy is hit.
So yeah, one tank down real quick there. We took a couple shots and then one from the Cromwell. But I've got 2 tanks with me, so we should have a tank advantage. We should be able to push this corner. And if we can focus fire and get some of these tanks out quickly.
We've hit them hard.
Again, just trying to use the terrain while we're reloading. Cromwell here is stuck by himself.
Enemy is hit.
He's gonna try to make a run for it and gets away.
Penetrate shot. We got him.
I lost a little bit of health there, and now we're going to trade a few shots, which obviously is not great. Both make good shots through the brick wall there and debris.
Enemy is hit.
And I finally get some help in there. So, we're up a tank, but you can see our heavies are not doing well. Cromwell here. Need to go ahead and get him out of the game. And big turnaround here at C. So just 2 tanks left, and we'll use this tank's mobility to get on in and try to get a little bit more damage. As you can see, we're already at 2,200. Come in behind the Thunder here. Snap a few shots off. And have a nice decent damage game here. 2,700. We get one more in. Yep. Almost 3K here on this battle. But unfortunately, no kills. So only a level 2, if you believe it or not. But it shows you there just how effective this gun can be under the right circumstances. If you can, get that shot, it's got good accuracy. All right, guys, so here's the third and final battle that I'm going to show. And again, I did kind of cherry pick these games to get you battles in which I had high damage. I think my win rate and average damage on this tank is pretty standard. It's certainly not a tank you can expect to carry on it because it's got that lack of pen. But keep in mind here, for this battle, we are down, well actually we have one additional heavy, so I've gone over to the light and medium side, and there's a strong chance, that they're coming this direction. And if you look at the mini map here, my whole team has gone the opposite direction. So this is one of those games I just need to keep that in mind, as we're hull down, but we've taken one shot there. I'm going to try to angle it the other way, but we just don't have the gun depression to make that work. And you know what, I thought by then I'd have been unspotted, but we take a second shot. And again, if you look at the mini map, my guys are on the boat. They're crossing over the boat. We've got a TD in the back corner doing absolutely nothing. Nobody's been even spotted on that side. So, I need to be ready just to get out of here should all of their heavies come on this side, or their one heavy, the rest of their team, I should say. And poking on that corner is dangerous also, as you see that shot come in there. Just because people can pull off to the right side of the TD spot there and get shots in here. But I am aware that they could potentially push this side of the map. So it made sense to me here to relocate and get into an unspotted position here. We've got the Stura Emil, and we're going to be able to pump in a couple shots here. And then he gets taken out. That Leo that I was with, really should not have held on to that position. Not much he's going to be able to do, because he's going to be pushed on heavily. And look at that Dreadnought. That thing is angry red. So here they come around the side here. I've got the J Panther with me. And so I would have been in the corner there, pushed on. And I think that was the right move to get out of there. And certainly a move that I think I need to do better of. I oftentimes see a teammate that's struggling, needs help, and I will rush in only to watch the teammate die, and then I'm in that exact same predicament. I need to do a better job of recognizing when to relocate and pull back towards teammates here, like I've done with the J Panther. And so now we've pulled the game even, and I feel that the Cromwell and the Tiger P here have turned their attention to our flankers. So it's my job now here. I think my best strategy was to come in here and get behind these guys and get them into crossfire. And we've got the side of the Tiger P. And thankfully he's going to keep showing us the side, because obviously from the front this guy has got some really strong, difficult armor. Try to put a shot into the T-34, and wouldn't you know that thing bounces. But here is, you know, the accuracy on this tank, being able to hit this commander's hatch and getting the final kill here. So back to 2 on 3. Luckily the Hellcat misses and we get the kill shot, making this 2v2. And now I'm going to pull back to my teammate, because together we can work a lot better, as opposed to one of us getting pushed by 2 tanks. Not sure why he dropped off the hill here, because I have a feeling that they're going to be coming around through the ship area. So for a free tank, you know, this was certainly a nice event. So there's the Comet. We're going to push in on him, trying to stay close to the Panther, but at the same time, you know, trying to get into a crossfire. Don't want to run into both these tanks at the same time, but there's the T-34-100, so we can now rush the Comet, the Cromwell, and go ahead and finish him off. And the J-Panther there finished the T-34-100, and we finished that off our victory. So very capable tank of putting up 2,000 damage games, but don't expect that every time. Like I said, it's not a tank that you can really carry a game in, limited with its armor and whatnot. But hopefully this gives you some ideas on how to play the tank a little bit better and enjoy it a little bit more. And with that, guys, hope you get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.